So I think we can proceed with our class today. So today is week 8, and as I already informed you guys, based on this course plan, we have this midterm test, dry run for midterm test, dry run for midterm test today. So this dry run is not only for our branch, it's same with other branches too, but this one is based on our schedule. So today, our class is today, so we will conduct the dry run for today. So no lecture for today. So we will take our lecture time, which is 1 hour, to conduct this dry run for midterm test. So the midterm test is actually next week, and I already informed you guys the date. You can check in the Google Classroom. I already informed you guys the that. So today with Ed, we are going to conduct this dry run for 1 hour, and then we are going to proceed on discussion on past year paper. This one, I don't want to discuss your progress or in the class, but let's see later. So our focus today is the midterm test and the dry run for the midterm test, and we will discuss the answer after 1 hour, and we will proceed with past year paper, and we will, if we have time, we will go with the data analysis, which should be covered last week. The analysis I think won't take more than 10 minutes because I already do this part, so this is shouldn't be a concern. So I think we have one more Wong, right, in this class. Wong Z, what's the name? Wong Z Shen, right? Is it from this class? Wong Z Shen? Um, oh, Wong Z Shen. Z Shen. Let me check. I think, wait, ah. Oh, guys, by the way, do you know what happened to Z Wang Zixing because he also didn't attend. Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't attend my class this week. Yeah, he didn't attend my class this week. Do you know what happened to him? Anyone check on him? Hmm. I think you should check on him because he didn't attend my class too. Um, he didn't. Yeah, confirm. He didn't attend my class. So better check on him. I got. Okay, then he is fine because I have student from other class. He didn't attend my class. Then I found out that he is sick. He's sick due to something, so he's sick. So I'm aware of his condition. But if this guy is okay, then that's okay then. So okay. So for your midterm or for your dry run test or your mock test, you will have 1 hour. You will be given the article and the you need to answer your question based on the article. But the article is only 4 page and 1 hour. So can you guys go and check in your Google Classroom under the mock test? Eh, wait. Okay, so guys, you can, yeah, midterm, no, for midterm you have 2 hours. Only for today you have 1 hour. For midterm, the real test next week, 2 hours. So I already checked the questionnaire. I think you guys can proceed already. Okay, so you have 1 hour. So, hi guys. So I received 12 response. So it's already the due time, 10:15, and I received 12 response. So it's 14 already, except one student. I think he is not. I think it's not Ed. Yes, it's not Ed. So let me answer. So for midterm, for the test next week for the midterm, only one article, but 50 marks and two 2 hours. Yeah, 50 mark, 2 hours, one article, one article. So we'll check the answer today. Yes, we will check the answer right after this. Yes. Okay. So we will check the answer, but I won't go to each of the answer. I will go to the summary of all of your answer, all of your answer. Okay. But before we discuss before we discuss the answer, I think I will give you break for 10 minutes because after our break we will continue with our discussion for this test, and then after discussion, right after our discussion for this quiz for this test, we will proceed with another article. So you need to read another article. So as I already informed yesterday, no mark for this mock test. Yeah, no mark for this test or mock test because this one is just a mock test, so no mark, but we will still discuss the answer. And then we will proceed with another article from past year question paper. So I give you 10 our year last week, our past year last week. Because last week we only have one, I remember last week we only discussed one past year paper. We still have another past year paper to do. Okay, check. Okay, so I give you 10 minutes. I think 10:30 we will continue back our class. Okay, thank you. Okay, hi, hi guys. So we should okay. So we should proceed with discussion. So Noel, just now we already done the mock test one with one article and 1 hour for 25 mark. But for your test also you will have one article but 2 hours and 50 mark. So let's proceed. But as I already informed, no mark for this mock test. So let's proceed. Why is it stuck? So let's proceed with the discussion based on the paper article question just now. Okay. So as you can see, okay. So this is our application of Google Class for teaching by UUM by UUM. Um, they don't have, by the way. Okay, so this is the article by UUM. So we have our mock test just now. We have two sections, section A and section B. So this first section, section A, was objective question. So I already I received the answer, of course, but I won't go through all of each of your answer. Instead, we will see what is the most selected answer here. So the first one, the first question, which of the following is not criterion for a good research project? So here we go to the first option A, demonstrate the abilities of the researcher. This is a it's not good. This is a correct answer because a research should demonstrate the research ability of the researcher. So the answer for number 1A is correct. So B, the research is dependent on the completion of other project. This is wrong. The completion of our research shouldn't be based on other project. It's true that we need to refer to other project, but our completion, our own research shouldn't be dependent on others' work or other research. So they ask for not criterion for a good research project. So this should be the answer. It is dependent the completion of other project when it shouldn't depend. So let's see. C, demonstrate the integration of different field of knowledge. This is true in a research. Sometimes we need to search, we need to study, we need to understand different from different field of knowledge. So C is correct, and then D, develop the skills of the researcher. So this is so obvious. So your answer mostly on A and B, but the correct answer should be B. Okay, your research, your work shouldn't be dependent on other work. Okay, the first answer for first question is B. This one. Then we move to next question. A review of the literature review before formulating research question permits the researcher to, so they ask a review of the literature before formulating research question. So provide an up-to-date understanding. Provide an up-to-date understanding of the subject, its significance and structure. So this is so literature review is very important so that we know what is the up or what is the current situation, current or latest research on the significant domain of area, significant domain of knowledge that related to our research. So first one A is correct, and then B, guide the development of research question. This one is correct too because our research question need to be based on the, of course, the research or research objective, but it can guide from the, it can be, you can get the idea from the LR, literature review. So B2 is correct. And then C, present the kinds of research methodologies used in previous studies. This one is also correct because in literature review, if you go and read the full article of other related work, you can know what is the relevant or most suitable methodologies that use to do the research that is almost the same with yours, but of course different. But that is the importance of LR, not only on the result, not only on the gap, but it also can, we can see what is the methodologies used from previous studies. So the answer is all of the above. So most of you get this one correct. So most of you get this one correct, all of the above. Okay, so that's the importance of LR. So not only for previous, not only for in LR when doing research, not only to know the previous studies, previous research or previous work, in LR also, it is important to tell, for example, for your assignment, you use a questionnaire. So it is important for you to justify why you want or why you need to use your questionnaire for your research in your LR part. So you need to justify them in LR part. So basically LR only from previous work, but also your current work, why you need that method or why you choose that instrument. Okay. And then question number 3. The main purpose of the research objective is to first, A, provide a theory to the LR. Provide a theory to the LR. This is strong. We don't do a theory based to our LR. Instead, we will, if you want to create a theory, if you want to create a hypothesis, it will based on the LR, not to the LR. So the first one is wrong. And then second, B, guide the development of reference. Guide the development of reference. Development of reference. I think this is not relevant at all. Guide the development of reference. And then C, present the research question. Research objective is to present the research question. No, we don't present the research question, but we will answer or will tackle the research question using or throughout the study. So the answer is D. Answer the research question throughout the study. So like I always says, research question should tackle your research objective, or your research question should answer your research objective. That's why in your assignment, I said if you have 3 research objective, your research question should have 3 too. So they are related to each other. Okay. Remember, research question answer the research objective throughout the study. So next one is question number 4. Dependent variable is, so dependent variable, dependent. This one is the one affected. Okay, so dependent. Yeah, affected. So A, the variable that is not manipulated and in which any changes are observed. So this one is correct because in experimental design, the variable that we manipulate is the independent variable, whereas the dependent variable is the variable that affected. So we need to observe the change in dependent variable. So most of you answer this correctly. So the answer should be A. So if you check on B, that is manipulated. So this is wrong. C, the measure of the extent which personal value affect research. No. So I think the answer is quite the question, and the question is straightforward, and the answer is obvious to the variable that is not manipulated. So still some of you get the answer wrong. So I hope for your test you can get the answer correctly because this is very important. I'm quite sure like 98% they will ask what is the variable for the dependent and independent variable. Okay. Next, we have question number 5. So which situation hold the potential for the highest risk, criticism, and possible failure? Okay, so I think the distribution here is not okay. So the highest risk of criticism and possible failure. So possible failure in a usually for the new thing that we discover. Any new thing that we discover is the it have the higher potential or higher risk to be fail. Anything that new, okay, because it is still a new thing. So there are many chance or there are high possibility for it to be fail. So let's see. And highest risk of criticism in research, criticism is very common. It's very common. Especially on the new thing, because it is a new idea, it is a new thing. So many researchers want to contribute the idea. Of course, they will high risk of criticism. But let's check the answer for this one. Applying all method to a new field of study. Applying all method to a field of study, to a new field. So for the first one, applying an all method to a new field of study, this is very common in a research. Okay, all method, that means it's already done before to a new field of study in a research. It is very normal if we want to produce or we want to produce or apply the all or the previous method to the new or to the current field of study. So this is this usually one, it's not usually, it is don't really accept higher risk, and it don't really tend to fail because it is just a new field of study, but it's using the all method. So the first one, A, is wrong. And then B, applying new method to a new field of study. This one should be the correct answer. Applying. Okay, highest risk of criticism and possible failure. Applying a new method to a new field of study. Of course, this one actually, new method to a new field of study. Usually this one is a higher level of research or deep research. This one usually will be done by the maybe PhD student, because this one is totally a new thing. That's mean they will come out, they will propose, they will propose a new method. They will propose a new method to the new field of study. Compared to the first one, like I said, this is the most common one, which is applying an all method to a new field of study. That means this is still a valid research, but this usually done in tend to be felt for the tend to be felt and receive a lot of criticism. Really, it's the term I don't really agree it is criticism, but it's comment from researcher because it's something new. Of course, the other scientists also want to contribute the idea to the new method. Okay, so here the term the word criticism, but it's more to comment criticism, positive criticism, but maybe can be I don't know. Yeah, trying a new method of because they are to a new field. So this one is the correct answer. B is the correct answer. Then let's look at C. Applying an all method to an all field of study. All field of study. This is since it's already there, so people are not really interested. It's not that people are not interested, but they won't really focus on the all field of study with the all method. So many reference should be, many reference can get for this one. New method, all field of method is correct, but if it is in all field of study, it still doesn't attract criticism. And let's common but new method new field of study. So the answer should so such question and objective. Clarify research question and objective. In LR, we do not clarify the research question and our objective. Okay, until which question just now? Is it question number 5? I think question number 5 should be okay. Question number 6, right? Question number 6. Why or what is the reason that we should, accept, no. All of the following a step to conduct an LR review except, so in LR, we should, but this one usually for clarifying our research question in research objective, usually in the PS or statement or our problem. So our research question should be clarified. Research question and research objective should be usually will be clarified in the problem statement and problem background. But in LR2, like I said just now, they should sometimes the researcher or the researcher will LR in the the research objective and the research question, they will add some justification in the LR. Okay, so the first one seems like a correct answer. So we hold this one first. B, start with a narrow perspective and move to a broad one. Narrow, move to a broad one. This one is wrong because So, okay, let me get back. So, in research, okay, so start with a narrow perspective and move to a broad one. That means here we narrow perspective is specific, like start with a narrow perspective. That means we are focusing on one. This is the diagram that actually I think the best to expand. That means here for this statement, we should start with one focus of area, then we move to, or we make our statement in general, which is actually not one general statement. General statement, we should focus to your perspective or your focus area, or usually usually an LR, you will start uh, right uh, it, or you can see what is the focus of that paragraph. So the statement for B is actually the purpose of me draw this one for you guys, because it's very important how to write your LR. So for example, okay, for example, let's take your assignment. The E, the you want to write your friend the research project e-hailing. So let's say you want to write LR. In, let's say you want to write on e-hailing in your LR. So first, what you need to do is you write generally what, or what is what is e-hailing, or how it is in Malaysia, and then you focus to how the people, the commuters use the e-hailing in KK, because first you write Malaysia and then you focus to how it is in KK. So that's how you write your LR. You should tackle your title, your specific, because your title is specific. So you should tackle the dot of your title towards the end of your paragraph. This is the correct or the right way for you to write your LR, not this one. Okay, so B is wrong. So B should be the answer because they said except. Okay, so so since no one's to see, I think locate and evaluate source of locate and evaluate source of information. Locate and evaluate sources of information. I think this is not. I think this is a wrong statement. And then we see what is literature to fill gap. This is true. Collect gap in a research. That means it is a problem or anything that the previous researcher suggests to do in the next research. So in LR, it is very important for us, for a researcher. Yeah, it is very important for a researcher to collect additional literature to fill the gap, so that we can solve or we can tackle what is the previous problem from the previous work. So in LR, this is very important to collect additional literature to fill gap. Even though you want to, for example, even though you want to do a research that fill this gap, you still need to justify why you want to or how you want to fill the gap. So this is correct, and this is very important in LR, to justify, to prove, and by collecting additional literature to fill the gap. So like I said, I mentioned before in our previous class, in your thesis, LR should be one chapter. LR literature review should be one chapter. Usually it will go to the second chapter. So the first chapter, usually the introduction, will cover the objective research question. Then the second chapter should be your LR. So LR is a stand-alone chapter in your thesis, but that one is in your thesis. Okay, so the answer should be B. Start with narrow perspective and move to a broad one, because this is so wrong. It should be the other way around. Okay, that's one, the answer for B. Let's move to question number 7. So, which of the following statement is false regarding quality research topic? Okay, so we need first, of course, we need to identify what is the we need to identify what is the correct statement first, and then we need to check if it is false. So first, research topic only produce valuable outcome for the hypothesis. This one should be wrong. I said it's read your quality research for topics only produce valuable outcome if the findings support the hypothesis. So this is wrong. Why I say so? Because as hypothesis, we only know the hypothesis is accepted or rejected. Like I always say, it is the end of our research. That means when we already conclude everything, then only we can state if we accept or we reject our hypothesis. So by right, we should already get the outcome. So this statement is totally wrong, because quality research topic only produce valuable outcome if the finding support the hypothesis. Whatever the outcome, or no, whatever whatever the result at the end of our research, whether we accept the hypothesis or we reject the hypothesis, the outcome still considered as valuable, because there is where, or that is how we come with the hypothesis. There's no such thing if there's no such thing in research, there's no such thing like we declare the outcome is valuable or not. Every outcome it's important and it's valuable. Regardless you accept or reject the hypothesis. Okay, so the first one is wrong, false. Okay, so the first one is the wrong statement here. Then second, B, we go to B. The topic should be developed from a sound because it is a quality research, sound theoretical base, or more to words, it's more related to words. So this is correct. Then greater commitment. C, greater commitment. Just failure. Okay, reduce the potential for conflict as the process continue. This one is true. Okay, sponsor in research is I'm not sure if you guys heard this in a research. Usually for university they offer a fund, like amount of money to conduct the research. To conduct a research. So that's more or less like a sponsor to our research. Of course, in our research we need money and we need fund to do that. Usually in university they will, but not for degree student. Usually for master and PhD they will offer some money. It can up to 1 million ringgit of Malaysia. I heard this before. My friend got 1 M RM1M to conduct the study, but of course not her alone. So if the they have if this is more like motivational actually, because if the sponsor or the what's the term? It's not sponsor for student. Actually, it's like a fund by the university to conduct the research. So it is like a motivational for the researcher if they have greater commitment or higher amount of money. So it's like we as a researcher more engaged to our research. So it can reduce any potential to failure. Okay, so this one is correct, but I don't expect you guys to know this one because this is still new for you guys. So a research to conduct a sometimes we need to stop the research. Okay, that one is C. This one is correct. Not only for quality research, for any type of research, this is correct. Okay, so the quality research topic. Wait. Okay, so quality research address gap in existing knowledge. Let me check. Knowledge that inhibit informed decision making. So this segment D is correct. Not only quality research, but in other research too are those that address gap. That means we are trying to fill the gap. We're trying to solve the problem. That is the main purpose of a research. If not, if you're not filling any gap, if you're not improving anything, if you're not provide anything, then that is not a research. That's more like a survey or reading. Okay, so the first one should be a quality research. Quality research topic only produce valuable outcome if the findings support the hypothesis. Okay, the answer is A. I already explained. Then we move to question number 8. Quantitative data are more useful for and qualitative data are more useful for. Okay, so qualitative testing and discovery. Okay, so quantitative data are more useful for quantitative. Quantitative is what? Quality is number. So first, quantitative data are more useful for A, discovering, and no, this one is wrong. Okay, quantitative data should be or are more useful for actually its testing. If you see A and B, the answer is just switch the position. So the answer should be B because quantitative data are more useful for testing and qualitative data are more useful for this covering. Okay, the answer should be B. Small sample, small sample, large sample. Quantitative data are more useful. This one is not relevant at all to the question. C, small sample and large sample. Discovering hidden motivation value. Tracking trend. Actually, C and D is not relevant at all to this question. So the answer, if you do not know, it should be A and B, but the correct answer should be B because quantitative is more useful to test and qualitative should be more useful to this to discover. Okay, so the answer is okay. Let's move to question number 9. I think this one. Okay. A is an unproven supposition or proposition that is tentatively explains certain fact or phenomena. sorry. So this one, as you can see, the answer is hypothesis, theory, data point, research question. So most of you choose between A and B. It is a hypothesis or a theory. So I think you guys know what is hypothesis. It is an unproven something that is haven't proved. So we need to prove the theory or the hypothesis. It's not theory, a hypothesis throughout our experiment or throughout our research. So the answer for this question is hypothesis. I think this question is already asked quite a few times in our quiz. So the answer for this one is A, hypothesis. Okay, remember, it's hypothesis. Question number 10. Measurement, something data are measurement in which number are used directly to represent the characteristic of something. I think the keyword here is number. So if it is number, we should know it is a quantitative. Okay, it is now, the keyword is number. So if you know it is a number that is used in your research, or your number, or the data that related to number, it is directly qualitative. But like I like I said, for some research, sometimes we do not need to choose if it is a qualitative or a quantitative uh, research, because sometimes we need to use both, or we need to apply more than one type of research in our research. So that one is for objective. So before we move to the subjective question, do you have any question before we move? Yeah. So no, let's move to, I don't want to see your answer here in your in your section here, because it's too crowded. So let's look at the question form. So this one is based on the article that are provided just now, the application of Google Classroom as a tool for teaching and learning. So the first question, identify the dependent and independent variable. So let me still some students do not know what is the difference between dependent and independent. Analyzing. Okay. This should be your dependent and independent. As I already scroll your answer, I said still some of you do not know how to get what is the dependent of or independent variable. So again, I remind you guys, okay, in research, actually, of course, let's go to research. Usually there will be a variable. Okay, this variable is something that we will see or something that we will use throughout our research. So here the question asks what is the dependent and independent variable of the research. So I think dependent variable, before we go to that one, the dependent variable is the effectiveness of Google Classroom in learning activities, and independent variable is the tools application or I accept as tools that students use in the Google Classroom. So let's go to the title of this research. Okay, so it's actually I already highlight this one for my own reading. So this is in our abstract part. In the abstract, there is one they highlight. They already state objective of this study to explore the classroom, the the effectiveness of Google Classroom active learning activities for data mining subject under the decision science program. So dependent variable should be the thing, the variable or the thing that we are going to see. Okay, so here is actually our dependent variable. So we want to see the effectiveness of Google Classroom. That means this is the result or the variable that will be affected. So effectiveness, we want to see how effective it is. So the effectiveness can be changed based on the tool that used in Google Classroom. So again, your dependent and independent variable, you should know what is, not only for this paper, but you should know what is dependent or independent. Usually, I'm not talking about research. Okay. Let's see, research title, the use of gamification in the use of gamification in learning. Let me think. I forgot already what is the title of my research. The use of gamification element in learning application. The engagement. The engagement. One of students with learning have the engagement of student with learning application with learning application. The engagement of student with learning application. Engagement of student. the use of where's my thesis? I forgot what is my okay. So SIG. Sorry, I forgot my DISIG and ENGAGI. Using gamification, designing engaging learning application with. Okay. So guys, based on this topic or based on this title of research, what is my variable or what is the independent variable and dependent variable based on the engaging learning. So what is the so question 10 is B. Question 10 is B. Yes. Wait guys, just now this is designing engaging learning application using gamification. So what is independent variable and what is the variable? One, two, five. Other than this one, so actually the independent variable is actually using gamification. So we want to see the effectiveness of gamification. It can be element. So the effectiveness actually we want to see this title of research is actually done to see the effectiveness of gamification in the learning application. So independent variable here should be the gamification. Using gamification. So gamification should be the independent variable here and dependent variable here should be the engagement. Engagement with the learning application. Okay, so guys, back to our question. I think some of you, even from your test, I know some of you do not know what is IV and what is this? Dependent variable. Last time, I sent a link into the WhatsApp group on the example of research for independent variable and dependent variable. So you guys better check that link. Okay. So I'm not sure how to help you with the dependent and independent variable, but you should check the link. Maybe the link can help you. So back to this question. So dependent is the effectiveness of Google Classroom in learning activities. That means we want to see how effective is this tool, the tool that we use with the learning activity. So dependent is effectiveness and independent is the application tool, the thing that we manipulate or the thing that we use to see the effectiveness. As you can see here, independent. So independent effectiveness of learning activities should be your dependent, something that we want to monitor or something that we want to see. So this is wrong. Mm, so this means so I think I disconnected. So just now I said from this, if you read the abstract, I think it's quite obvious here in this objective they want to explore or they want to see the effectiveness. So that means this is our yeah, effectiveness. So this is the thing that we want to observe or the thing that we want to see. Okay, so I think this is quite straightforward actually. I'm not sure why some students still get it wrong. So we move to the next question. The main research problem. We need to identify what is the main research problem. Oh, so here identify the main research problem, student action, practical student. So main research problem. I will accept the answer. This one, I think somewhere, I think in the article, I will accept this answer. This one, I will reject this one because this is more research problem is not a research question. So I will not accept this. This one, what is the effectiveness? You have this term here, what? So if I were this student, if I were you, I will change this one to, because this is more like research question. So maybe this one, not none. You want to state that you do not know what is the result or the answer to this statement. So this statement. So this is wrong. How and what is more to like research question. This is not a research question. They ask for research problem. This one I think Sam, I will accept this one. The student reaction, this one is Google. Again, this one is a research question. So this one I will accept. Reject. Man research problem. This one like research problem should be in a statement form. This is does, what, or how just now. So then the answer should be, I think I highlight. This should be, I think some of students just now get this answer. So this should be, however, this is the problem statement. However, the student reaction, so this is the problem statement. So, what is it just now? I do not know whose answer is this. But this one should be the answer. Okay, if you go check this one. So one should be the problem statement. So usually in abstract, they will write, or usually not all, but most of the article that I read, usually they will state this is the introduction part. So usually they will state what is the problem, what is the current problem, and uh, tell the reader what is the reason of they conduct the research. Okay, usually that's the flow, and then of course they will sometimes they will tell, but sometimes no. They will tell how will they conduct the research. And here they also state the method, model IAM, and then they will state the result. But in abstract, not all of the abstract will state what is the of the research. Okay, sometimes people will produce the article even before they get the result. So sometimes the result yet. Okay, so this is the research problem. And then now one null hypothesis and one alternative hypothesis. This one I already explained to you guys last week how to come out with a null hypothesis. So null hypothesis is we state that the variable is not related or not affected each in, I mean, null hypothesis usually they will say there are no related between or no relation between the variable. Null. This is not a this is not a null hypothesis. This is a correct alternative hypothesis, but this one is not a null hypothesis. This one null and alternative is correct. What is this? Then null. This one is correct. This one is correct. So null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis should contradict with each other. This one is correct. Does not have any effect. This one is correct. No significant difference. Correct. Google Classroom is useful. So this one is correct. Null hypothesis, 100 students. This is not a hypothesis. So I will reject this answer. This is not a hypothesis. This one, there is no significant difference. This one is correct. I accept alternative. Correct. No significance for null is correct. Correct. No association, correct. I think most of you know what is, accept this one. So most of you know what is null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So since we already know what is the objective just now, by right, we should already identify our variable. So null hypothesis, we state that this variable 1 is not affected or does not affected by the other variable. So your alternative hypothesis should be something, you state something that is positive or something the variable is related. So your null and alternative hypothesis should contradict with each other. They shouldn't go on the same page. I mean, they shouldn't agree on each other. So here, I choose this answer because this one is quite clear. So null is not very effective. And then the alternative hypothesis is it is very effective. Or you can say something like this. So null hypothesis, Google Classroom does not have any effect, and it's said here that it is very effective. So this one is the correct answer, actually. Okay. So provide one objective for this study. To explore the effectiveness, I think most of you get it right by from this this statement. Can get this right. So okay. Process of the data collection. Explain the process of the data collection. So the answer should be this one, actually. Distributed to a sample of 100 students who enroll data mining subject. This is how they are going to get, or this is the process how they are going to conduct their research. But if you give me the answer like this, I will accept too. Questionnaire, I will accept. This is a process. So this one is from the article. I will accept. Questionnaire, accept. So most of you get it correct. So it is a set of questionnaire. So this one is correct. So explain the process of data analysis. Data analysis. Data analysis, this one is you can get from here. Data analysis. Okay, we go back to this question. Explain the process of data analysis or how they are going to analyze the data. So here it's already stated in the objective here. The analysis of data was carried out using technology using this technology TAM to examine the relationship between factor and effectiveness. So this one should be the answer. This one. So the answer should be how they are going to analyze the the data. I mean the tools they are using to analyze the data. So I think honestly, I think the article here is uh quite simple and easy to understand because I think just by the abstract you can get all the answer. But in your test, of course, me too, before I answer the question, because I try to answer the question, I go through the paper actually. So for your test next week, do not only read this part. To you need to read the whole article. So like I said, I think in our class last time, for your test, what I suggest you to do is first you read the question first. You go to see what they ask for, especially on the subjective question. You see what they ask so that after or when you're reading your research paper, you can pinpoint the answer. Okay. So but that's just my suggestion. It's up to you guys actually how you want to answer. So that one is the mock test and the answer for mock test today. So any question before we proceed? So siapa ni? Noel, I think you should try, even though we already have discussed the answer, you should try. And I am aware that some of the students have a friend in other branches and in other branch. And maybe it's not maybe, as I am aware, they already conduct the test, mock test before our class. So if you know the answer even before this class, that's cool for you. But for the test, it is not good for you because we will conduct the test simultaneously with other branch. You should check the depth. Okay, so you should know actually what is the or how should you answer the question. Okay, especially on the dependent and independent variable. Guys, I already sent you the link. Me myself, I even checked the link, so you should really check what is the link because some of you still do not know how to differentiate or even to identify the variable. Same goes to your research question. Do not mix your research question with your research problem or problem statement or problem background. Okay. Satisfy. The student satisfy. Satisfy. I think the term here should be satisfy. I think this word, if I'm not sure if my English is wrong, but by the way, here, dependent variable is the student satisfaction on Google Classroom as a tool for a teaching and learning. This is wrong. Why? If you go back, if you see the objective or the main objective of this research is to see the effectiveness, not to see the satisfaction of student. Okay, so the variable that I use here, which is the tool, is to test the effectiveness, not to test the satisfaction of student. So this is wrong. Okay, Alvin. So did I answer your question? Okay, cool. So I think we have 20 more minutes. So like I said, we should proceed with past year paper. So I think we won't spend too much time on this. Mm, 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 mm. Did you already read this paper? Any of you? I think because I see one student already written the paper. By the way, I don't think we done this one, right? The paper, past year paper two. Did we? No, we haven't. So what I want you to do, because we have 20 more minutes, so I give you time to read the paper until 11:53 for this one, past year paper 2 article, okay? So you read until 11:53. Okay, class? Is that okay with you? Okay, so you read, then we see the paper.